Ramses, having spent the last few days moving between the royal palace, where he outwardly prepared the pharaoh's defense, and the rebel camp, had secured the final, crucial details. He knew the palace's weak points, the deployment of the loyalist guards, and the pharaoh's planned command post. The moment had come. On the chosen morning, the rising sun painted the sky crimson, mirroring the sun, blood about to be spilled. The air was split by the thunderous blare of war horns, the sound of the royal army responding to the threat, and the answering cry of defiance from Amunet's assembled forces. The war had begun, the tyrant's arrogance. Inside the heavily fortified city walls, Pharaoh Menetra stood atop the main pylon, watching the rebel army approach. He was clad in ceremonial golden armor, radiating arrogant confidence. Beside him, his eldest son, Prince Amun, a brutish warrior, stood eager for battle. "See them, Amun," Menetra sneered, his voice booming with contempt. A rabble of farmers and a few disgruntled soldiers, led by a desperate shadow and a foolish boy. "Go, my son, take a legion, crush their hope, and bring me the heads of Amunet and that traitor Ramses. Show them the true divine power of the pharaoh." Prince Amun roared his acceptance and thundered down to the front lines. Menetra, utterly underestimating the unified Kushite-armed rebel force, settled in to watch the slaughter he believed was inevitable. The blood of war. The two armies met in a violent, chaotic clash. Amunet's people, though mostly commoners, fought with the fervor of those defending their homes, guided by the brute of their fantasies, tactical brilliance of Kalam's training, and Ramses' deployment plans. Spears clashed with axes, and Kushite archers rained death on the royal guard. Ramses, clad in his commander's armor, but fighting alongside the rebels, sought out key targets, using his position to disrupt the pharaoh's chain of command. He witnessed the horrific toll, brother killing brother, Egyptian blood soaking the sacred earth. On the main front, the duel between Prince Amun and the Dark Lord Amenet was the main battle. Vortex of the battle. Amunet fought with a father's rage and a prince's skill. He drove Amun back relentlessly, their weapons a blur of desperate strikes. In a final desperate move, Amunet managed to bypass Amun's guard and struck a mortal blow. Prince Amun fell, the last hope of Menetra's direct line extinguished. But Menetra, seeing his son fall, descended into sheer madness. He abandoned his post and charged into the fray, his golden armor becoming stained with blood. He fought like a creature possessed, not a man, his sword hacking down friend and foe alike in a bloodlust of vengeance. The tyrant was not just killing, he was murdering, his eyes wild, utterly consumed by a vengeful bloodthirst. He reached the fallen Amunet, and with a final brutal swing, executed his own brother. Amunet, the true king, died on the field. Ramses, witnessing his true father's final breath and his uncle's monstrous act, was consumed by rage. He fought his way toward the pharaoh, his grief and fury fueling his every step. "Menetra," Ramses roared, charging with his khopesh. "The gods themselves demand your end." The pharaoh spun, his face a mask of insane glee, smeared with gore. "Ah, the disobedient whelp! Come to join your father and brother in the abyss." Menetra was faster, stronger, and completely unhinged. He deflected Ramses's attack and struck back with devastating force, sending the younger man's weapon flying. Menetra raised his sword high for the finishing move, gloating in his triumph. Suddenly, A massive golden blur shot from the tree line. The sound of a tremendous impact echoed as the lion Ramses had spared 6 months ago, recognized by its distinctive mane and the fading scar on its flank, leapt into the fight. It didn't bite or maul. It slammed its mighty shoulder into the pharaoh's side. The force of the impact was enough to send the armored pharaoh sprawling several feet away, his sword clattering on the ground. Ramses, seeing his miracle, scrambled to his feet. His hand went to the final weapon, the symbol of his mother's legacy. He drew the trident of Manasseh. He looked from the loyal lion standing guard to the inscription on the golden trident, finding strength, not in anger, but in purpose. He charged the stunned pharaoh. Menetra tried to scramble for his sword, but he was too late. Ramses, guided by skill and necessity, thrust the trident of Manasseh forward. The golden prongs pierced the golden armor, and the tyrant's reign ended instantly. Silence fell across the battlefield. The remaining loyalists dropped their weapons, recognizing the divine sign of the pharaoh's death. Ramses stood over the fallen tyrant, the trident of Manasseh gleaming in the bloody sunlight. Order was restored, purchased with the sacrifice of the father who raised him and the father who gave him life, and witnessed by the beast he had chosen to spare, the crowning of the new pharaoh. The instant the trident of Manasseh ended the reign of Menetra, the battle ended. The loyalist soldiers, seeing their tyrannical pharaoh slain by the golden weapon, a symbol of the true lineage, and witnessed by the very gods in the form of the unchained lion, dropped their swords. The roar of war transformed into a stunned, profound silence. The surviving army, led by Calem and King Nerek, knelt before Ramses. He was grief-stricken, mourning the loss of the 2 men who had been his fathers. But he held himself with the posture of a king. He had brought justice, upheld Ma'at, and fulfilled the destiny woven into his mother's trident. The people of Egypt, the farmers, the artisans, and the common folk swarmed the city gates. They had seen the truth of Amenet's cause and the terrible wickedness of Menetra. They raised their voices in a unified, deafening chorus. Ramses, Pharaoh Ramses, for Ma'at and for Egypt. A few days later, in a ceremony stripped of Menetra's lavish excess, Ramses was crowned. He wore the traditional white and red crowns, and in his hand, he held not the usual crook and flail, but the radiant trident of Manasseh. As the final chants of the high priest echoed across the massive temple courtyard, a remarkable sight occurred high above the crowd. The golden, ornate cage that had housed the sacred golden bird of Egypt, a symbol of the pharaoh's spiritual freedom and connection to the divine, suddenly shattered. The bird, a magnificent falcon, soared into the sunlight, circling the new pharaoh before vanishing into the blue. The oppression was truly over. Ramses, now pharaoh, looked down at Calem, who stood proudly beside the throne. A new age had dawned, but the cost had been everything.
हुकुम हुकुम महाराजा का हुकुम, जश्न मनाओ।